Good day everyone. For today I'm gonna explain the history of computing. First is the prehistory, the history of computer hardware, software, and networking. And for the last is pioneers of the computing. So for the next, history of computing. So when we say history of computing, a computer might be described with deceptive simplicity as an apparatus that performs routine calculation automatically. Such a definition would owe its deceptiveness to a naive and narrow view of calculation as a strictly mathematical process. In fact, calculation underlies many activities that are not normally thought of as mathematical. So, that is the abacus. So, next. The world before 1946. So, when we say computing, it is originally the word computing was synonymous with counting and calculating. And a computer was a person who computes. Since the advent of the electronic computer, it has come to also mean that operation and usage of these machines and electrical processes carried out within the computer hardware itself and the theoretical concepts governing them. So, computing-related events. In 750 BC, the abacus was the first used by the Babylonians as an aid of simple arithmetic at some time around this date. So, in 1492, Leonardo da Vinci produced drawings of a device consisting of interlocking cogwheels which could be interpreted as a mathematical calculator capable of addition and subtraction. So, in 1588, logarithms are discovered by Just Bürgi. So, in 1614, Scotchman John Napier invents an ingenious system of movable rods. For 1622, William Outridge developed slide rules based on John Napier logarithm. So, the world before 1946, in 1623, William Scricard of Tübingen, Württemberg built the first discrete automatic calculator and thus essentially started the computer era. For the 1956, by the same man, Franz Hammer, the machine was reconstructed in 1960 and found to be workable. In 1642, French mathematician Blaise Pascal built a mechanical adding machine, the Pascaline. In 1668, Sir Samuel Morland in 1622 to 1695 of England produces a non-decimal adding machine suitable for use with English money. So, in 1671, German mathematician Gottfried Leibniz designed a machine to carry out multiplication, the Steppenrekorder. In 1726, Jonathan Swift described a machine engine in his Gulliver's Travels. While in 1774, Philip Matthews Hahn, somewhere in what will be Germany, also make use successful multiplying calculators. So for the next, and for the world before 1946, in 1775, Charles Snapon. Stanhope. 3rd Earl Stanhope of England makes successful multiplying calculator similar to Leibniz. In 1784, Mahler of the Hessian army conceives the idea of what came to be called a difference engine. 00 and 1980. In 1801, Joseph Marie Jacquard developed an automatic loom controlled by punch card. In 1820, Charles Xavier Thomas de Colmar of France makes his arithmometer, the first mass-produced calculator. In 1822, Charles Babbage designed his first mechanical computer, the first prototype of the decimal difference engine for tabulating polynomials. So in 1832, Babbage and Joseph Clement produced a prototype segment of his difference engine which operates of 6-digit numbers and second-order differences. In 1834, Babbage convinced and begins to design his decimal analytical engine. So for the next, the world before 1946. 1835, Joseph Henry invents the electromechanical relay, while the 1842 Babbage difference engine project officially cancelled. 1843, Scotch and his son Edward Scotch produced third-order difference engine with printer, and the Swedish government agrees to fund their next development. In 1847, Babbage designed an improved, simpler difference engine, the difference engine number 2, a project which took 2 years. So in 1848, British mathematician George Boole devised binary algebra, Boolean algebra, paving the way for the development of a binary computer almost a century later. So in 1853, the Babbage Light and his coaches complete the first full-scale difference engine, which they call a tabulating machine. In 1856, the first tabulating machine is bought by the Dovely Observatory in Albany, New York, and the second one by the British government. So, the world before 1946. 1869, the first practical logic machine is built by William Stanley Jevons. 1871, Babbage produces a prototype section of the analytical engine's mill and printer. 1875, Martin Weber produces a reworked difference engine-like machine for preparing logarithmic table. 1878, Ramon Verrea, living in New York City, invents a calculator with an internal multiplication table. This is much faster than the shifting carriage or other digital methods. 1879, a committee investigates the feasibility of completing the analytical engine and concludes that is the impossible now and the Babbage is dead. In 1884, Dewey Felt, 1862 to 1930, of Chicago makes his comptometer. In 1885, a multiplying calculator more compact than the arithmometer entered mass production. In 1886, Herman Hollerith uses his tabulating system in the Baltimore Department of Health. 1889, Dewey invents the first printing desk calculator. So for the next is next. So the word 1946. In 1890 and 1880, census had taken 7 years to complete since all processing had been done by hand of journal sheets. So 1892, William S. Burroughs of St. Louis invents a machine similar to felt but more robust, and this is the one that really started the mechanical office calculator industry. 1895, everything that needed to be invented is now invented. 1900 and 1939 AD. 1906, Henry Babbage, Charles' son, with the help of the firm of R.W. Monroe, completes the mill of his father's analytical engine, just to show that it would have work. While the 1990, W.H. Eccles and F.W. Jordan published the first flip-flop circuits design. 1924, Walter Bethe builds the first AND logic gate, the coincidence circuit, for use in physics experiments, for which they receives the Nobel Prize in Physics 1954. So for the next slide, the word before 1946. 1930, Vannevar Bush builds a partly electronic difference engine capable of solving differential equations. 1931, Kurt Gödel of Vienna University, Australia, publishes a paper on universal formal language based on arithmetic operation. And for 1936, Alan Turing of Cambridge University, England, publishes a paper on computable numbers, which reformulates Kurt Gödel's result. In 1937, George Stevich of the Bell Telephone Laboratories, Bell Labs, New York City, construct a demonstration 1-bit binary adder using relays. And for the 1938, Konrad Zuse of Berlin completes the Z1, the first mechanical binary programmable computer. The word before 1946. In 1939, John Vincent Atanasoff and graduate student Clifford Berry of Iowa State College, Ames Iowa complete the prototype 16-bit adder. And for the 1994 to 1949 AD, 1940 to 1949 AD. January 1940, the Bell Labs, Samuel Williams and George Stibitz complete a calculator which can operate on complex numbers and give it the imaginative name of the complex number calculator. It is the later known as the Model 1 relay calculator. So in April 1, 1940, Conrad Zuse funds the world's first computer startup company and the Zuse Apparatebau in Berlin. May 12, 1941, now working with limited backing from the DVL, Conrad Zuse completes the Z3, the first operational programmable computers. Summer 1942, Stanislav and very complete a special purpose calculator for solving system of simultaneous linear equations, later called the ABC. So for the next slide is the word before 1946. So for 1942, Conrad Zuse develops the S1, the world's first process computer used by handshell to measure the surface of things. April 1943, Max Newman, Win Williams, Alan Turing and their team at the secret government code and the Seaport School, Bletchley Park, Bletchley, England, complete the Hal Robinson. September 1943, Williams and Stibitz complete the relay interpolator, later called the Model 2 relay calculator. So for the December 1943, the Colossus was built by Dr. Thomas Flower at the Post Office Research Laboratories in London to crack the German Lawrence SJ42 SIPO. August 7, 1944, the IBM ASCC or Automatic Sequence Control Calculator is turned over to Harvard University, which calls it was Harvard Mark I. So in 1945, Conrad Zuse develops Planck-Calcul, the first higher level programming language. So for the 1945, Vannevar Bush developed theory of the memex, a hypertext device linked to a binary of books and films. So for the next slide, history of computer, hardware, software, and network. History of computing hardware. So covers the developments from early simple devices to aid a calculation to modern day computers, early mechanical tools to help humans with digital calculations, like the abacus, were referred to as calculating machines of calculators. The machine operator was called the computer. So computing hardware is a platform for information processing. History of software. Software is a set of program instructions stored in the memory of stored program digital computer for execution by the processor. Software is a recent development in human history, and it is fundamental to the information age. History of networking. Computer networks is nothing but many computers linked together. These are multiple computers having connections. In this world, all the computers can be accessed through his network and can be accessed as per user requirement. So, computer hardware versus networking. Number 1, basic difference. For the basic difference, computer hardware can be said a physical device used with your machine, and the computer network system is made up of software and has link protocols that allows a set of computers network which can be used. For number 2, hardware use. The hardware device that are required to a computer operating system are mouse, keyboards, touchpad, disk drives, display adapter, USB devices, bitmap screen, LED, and etc. So the components that are in a network include parts that are needed for installing a network. Computer hardware versus networking. Software. A computer system can be created with the help of hardware, but this system without any software will just be a showpiece. To create a network, also software are required. Software is the driving force which instructs all network components to operate together. For the number 4, the advantage. Hardware is the backbone of any system. The two major advantages of hardware, which usually go unnoticed, are as below. Networking has many benefits. Some of these include file sharing. For the next, pioneers of computing. Selected pioneers: David Wheeler, 1927 to 2004, inventor of the closed subroutine, died on December 13, 2004. Edgar Ted Hood, 1923 to 2003, inventor of the relational database model. He died on April 18, 2003. And for the Roger Needham, 1935 to 2003, director of Microsoft Research, Cambridge, died on February 28, 2003. Edgar Distrach, 1930 to 2002, advocator of structured programming. He died on August 6, 2002. See arbitrary. Both co-inventors of Simula 67, the first object-oriented programming language, died in 2002. Ali Janada, 1923-2002, died on June 29, 2002. Christian Igor, 1922 to 2002, died on August 10, 2002. Robin Miner, 1923 to 2000, pioneers of automated theorem proving programming language design and concurrent system. He died on 20th March 2010. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you po.